When we go to a supermarket or a grocery store, it often pleases us to see the infinite amount of grocery stocks made available to the public. However, since there has been a supply shortage, it is revealed that grocers in America are struggling to keep store shelves stocked. What's good, you guys? This is Market Thrive, and today we are going to talk about the product shortages stores are experiencing and what to expect in the future. Before we start the video, I would just like you to do me a favor by just hitting that subscribe button and the bell notification down below to keep you updated on this channel. So without further ado, let's hop into it. America's supply chains are now accustomed to chaos. According to executives, a new disruption appears practically every day, making it harder and harder to find a solution to this situation. Billions of dollars worth of goods are trapped and out of reach as the situation at ports where congestion is causing enormous heaps of containers to the point that some of them are overflowing into city streets, crashing automobiles, and causing accidents gets worse by the day. Some retailers won't receive their merchandise for nearly a month due to shipping delays. Customers are tremendously concerned as a result of this situation, which is causing local and national shortages to worsen. Unfortunately, according to industry insiders, this will become the new standard for the foreseeable future. Additionally, store owners are only able to do so much to address declining inventory levels and bare shelves. Many of them are forced to think of original techniques to attract clients and make the store appear organized. This includes positioning goods in unexpected locations throughout the store. Large beer boxes have apparently been pushed onto lanes that were formerly intended for packed meals, according to consumer reports posted on social media. Others mentioned that they had observed many boxes of chocolate filling being positioned adjacent to veggies and fresh fish. One of them shared a photo of chilled cases filled with items that may be kept on the shelf, like sauces and salad dressings. Grocers essentially go out of their way to make sure customers don't walk and discover bare shelves. Quote, "We've been impacted by some patchy disruption to our deliveries," one store owner explained. "Our teams are always trying to make sure our stores look as attractive as possible, and sometimes managers come up with creative ways of making sure that shelves are full." End quote. The reality is that the same issue consolidated firms facing severe product shortages at a time when consumer demand has never been higher is present all over the world. However, a record labor shortage, work restrictions, severe weather, and power outages at factories have caused manufacturing to slow down more than it ever has. The price of the few items still in stock is also significantly higher due to the imbalance between supply and demand, especially when it comes to food. According to a recent poll, approximately 20% of customers claimed that they were unable to purchase basic necessities last month because they had been out of supply for more than 2 weeks. However, food retailers reaffirmed that they are making every effort to preserve inventory and that they are making every effort to maintain a positive customer experience in order to remain competitive. About 58% of respondents to the poll claimed that supply chain problems, product shortages, and shipment delays had greatly increased the stress of shopping. 41% of consumers reported that severe shipping and delivery delays and product shortages led them to give up on a brand. Grocers must at least make an effort to make their stores appear stocked, tidy, and organized, according to data supplied by the New York-based trade association ICSC, which represents retail firms. Some of them are being forced to act pretty frantically, like stuffing an entire aisle with things that would typically only fit on one shelf. Others cover the holes with empty product packaging, including sandwich boxes or even cardboard dummies. This tactic has long been used, but now that it is occurring so regularly, consumers are not only noticing it but also finding it to be rather annoying. A Tesco representative who was spotted placing cardboard cutouts of products in some stores instead of actual products appeared to try to defuse the situation by claiming that the usage of cutouts was unrelated to worsening shortages despite mounting supply chain difficulties. However, the staff members were using the photographs to assist them in visualizing new product display arrangements. For supermarkets, using cardboard placeholders streamlines procedures. Many of them are having trouble finding and keeping employees. Miss Shuttleworth said, quote, "It's probably quicker and definitely cheaper to put cardboard in than it is to do anything else such as reorganizing a store's aisles or moving stocks to fill the empty space. Placeholders can also shield staff from shopper inquiries into the whereabouts of items," end quote. Other supermarkets, meanwhile, have made the decision to replenish empty shelves with out-of-stock placards. Customers, however, have revealed on social media that in some branches, the unending rows of signs are giving businesses a post-apocalyptic appearance. In a recent thread on Twitter, thousands of individuals collected images of bare grocery shelves as well as other amusing and peculiar ideas store owners have been coming up with to deal with the problem. Many people have mocked shelves that show food-related images rather than actual food and criticized shops for acting so dishonestly. One person started the thread by uploading images of Tesco's aisles of fall asparagus. Many other users were drawn to the message, and they began to share what they were seeing in the neighborhood shops and their most recent shopping adventures. Another one mockingly captioned, quote, "Yum yum," end quote, after spotting some cardboard carrots. One of the images displayed freezers completely stocked with phony milk bottles. While people make online jokes about the issue to lighten the mood and make it easier to deal with, news statistics reveal that consumers are really growing more alarmed. The Food Industry Association's most recent U.S. supermarket shopper trends tracker indicates that roughly 53% of the consumers surveyed are worried about severe shortages and rising prices. Even large supermarket brands with their own shipping infrastructure are currently unable to avoid product shortages despite having a sizable supply network, funding, and room for excess inventory. With the crisis getting worse, shopping experiences are still being disrupted. In order to hold the greater products before the holidays, some major retailers have been prompted to try secure additional warehouse space. In order to reduce consumer demand, some will reduce their discounts. The largest food retailer in the United States, Kroger Co., recently declared that it has expanded its safety stock of goods in more than 70 categories, found additional warehouse space to house the extra products, and dispersed the ports it uses for imports. Walmart also disclosed that in addition to adding 20,000 supply chain personnel and automating warehouse operations whenever possible, it had redirected cargoes to less crowded ports and reduced port congestion. Regrettably, the great majority of small food stores are much less adaptable and continue to have trouble replenishing their stock. The products that will be available on shelves at any particular time must be planned. Quote, "I've had over a decade of retail experience and this is like nothing I've experienced or seen before," end quote, highlighted Italia McCarthy, general manager of Dill Pickle Food Co-op in Chicago, which she said is dealing daily with deliveries arriving incomplete or not at all. Quote, "We have made a huge effort in making sure we're not having these huge gaps," end quote. Store managers admitted that they are reintroducing some of the more traditional tactics used by retailers short on projects to other areas of the store, such as facing up or shifting a few products on a shelf to the front so customers won't notice all the empty space behind. In order to fill gaps, they are also increasing the number of facings or rows a certain item is offered on a shelf. For instance, Matt Tapio, the proprietor of the Walnut Food Market in Newton, Massachusetts, said that many items that he would typically place on a single shelf are now dispersed among 2 or 3 to cover some of the gaps left by excess inventory or insufficient inventory. To prevent space, the Dale Pickle has also altered the shelving arrangements. McCarthy said, quote, "If we see holes, we'll all of a sudden make our best sellers have 3 or 4 slots rather than just 1 or 2, end quote. Further, quote, "But facing up doesn't solve all problems," end quote, noted John Rosa, the general manager of Weavers Way Cooperative Association in Philadelphia. Quote, "It gets to the point where it looks silly. Say if you're walking down the aisle and you see 7 or 8 facings of the same product," he said. Weavers Way isn't troubled about leaving gaps, Rosa continued. He claims that the store employs a signage to let customers know when the product is sold out and advises them to question staff about alternatives. People who have disregarded economists' warnings in recent months are likely to begin regretting their actions right now. Given that shortages are growing more widespread with each passing week, it is definitely too late to begin hoarding food and other supplies. The worst of this crisis has not yet materialized, despite what we are going through right now. The issues are becoming worse, and another brutal winter threatens to worsen port congestion and cause additional disruptions in the food production process. We have some really difficult days ahead of us, and the problems we face will be far more difficult than most people anticipate. What do you think the grocery situation will be like in the coming days? Feel free to jot down your thoughts in the comments section below. If you enjoyed today's video, please leave a like. And if you want to stay updated on our posts, hit that subscribe button as well. Once again, this is Market Thrive signing off.